Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
All right, thank you for that, Nigel.
Thanks, Mr. Rigsby. Take two, because Jerry forgot to plug the microphones in.
I didn't.
Did you think I wasn't going to acknowledge that? Let the listeners in, break the fourth wall? But yeah, just did it.
Yeah. Thank you for that. We're just going to do a brief introduction of ourselves, since most of you don't know us or care about us.
Most of you? No one knows us. What do you mean, most of you?
Well, somebody's heard of us.
Who?
I've told people about us. we have a Facebook group that has like 3 people on it.
Yeah, and you haven't posted to it in forever.
Well, I'm a busy man.
And you're the Facebook guy, because if you don't post, I'm not going to post.
I have a family.
Did we say your name, Jerry? You're Jerry?
Jerry.
My name is Gaby, like Bobby, which is short for Robert. But my name is Gaby, but with a G.
And what is that short for?
Gabrielle.
Is that a girl's name?
Apparently, in some cultures it is. But my father's from Chile, and they say Gabrielle. But I'm not Spanish in the least, as you can tell by the sound of my voice. I was born in Arkansas, raised in Oklahoma, married in Texas.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're very diverse. Anyways, for our first podcast, we're going to do a brief review of the upcoming Portal Games release of First Martians Adventures on the Red Planet. It is a worker placement game. Has a lot of story elements by designer Ignacy Chevacek. Just as a side note, if you've played his previous game, Robinson Crusoe, you're going to have a lot easier time learning this First Martians. And I am a huge fan of Robinson Crusoe. In connection with First Martians, I love the theme. I love the worker placement. I love the fact that the game tries to kill you and shows you no mercy, much like my first wife. And it has the overall...
You're still on your first wife.
Well, I didn't say I left her. Didn't say I didn't like it either.
First wife so far. Oh, right. See, that's the stuff she told you about.
Right. And so there's random events that pop up that you have to be able to deal with, and it really does feel like it's telling a story. And like I said, if you're a fan of Robinson Crusoe, you're going to be a fan of First Martians. But it doesn't come without its faults. And I know I myself really enjoyed the game, but I think Gaby here kind of had a bad experience.
Do I start hating it now or wait?
If you
you want to keep talking about all the good stuff?
If you just want to if you just get the hate out of your heart, go ahead.
You said if you like Robinson Crusoe, you'll like this game. If you did not like Robinson Crusoe, you're not going to like this game. Is literally the same thing, except in space, which everybody knows that. And everybody knows Robinson Crusoe was like super hard to understand. The rules suck. You said it took you a year and 5 years to learn the rules?
No, it didn't take me that long, but it felt like 5 years.
Yeah, it took you a long time. Was that the first edition or second?
That was the first edition, and I will admit that like a lot of Ignacy's games, there are some very ambiguous rules, and immediately there has been a lot of updates and changes, and even with a very lengthy Watch It Played video and a lot of the errata that you can find on Board Game Geek, the game requires commitment to learn, and it's not an easy game. And so, although I love the game, and I think it is one of the best games I've played this year, I personally cannot recommend it to I can only recommend it to people who are really wanting to have the experience and play a really hardcore game that tells a story, and people who really enjoyed Robinson Crusoe.
Well, yeah, it takes commitment, and I don't have the attention span you do. Like, you go home and you open up games and start reading rules, and you live and breathe and eat these games. And I don't do that. I like playing a game that's somewhat simple. I mean, I can play a complicated game, but this one is ridiculous. A rule set is a bunch of, I don't even know. I don't know where to start. I'm not very articulate with my hate. It is, It's a lot to know. Basically, Jerry just told me what to do, and I did it. Or you gave me, all right, this is happening. Okay, now I have 3 options. What am I going to do? Okay. That's because Jerry knows the game. And for me to learn the game on my own, it would take me forever to read the book and understand it.
I will say that there's a lot of mechanics with it. The dice rolling, the events that take place on the app that comes with the game. There's cards in the game. And like I said, the rule book is not laid out just the best. And particularly your first several plays through the game, you have to go back and look through the rule book and try to understand what's going on. And so even though I love this game, it will be in my collection, and I really enjoy playing it even as a co-op. And I am not a co-op player. I do not enjoy co-op games. This is one of the few co-op games I do enjoy. Solo game, it's an excellent game, but then again, it is the people who are going to like this game is going to be a small group of the board gaming community, and it's something that although I love the game, I can't recommend it for everybody. No, I can't recommend it for you, Gaby, obviously.
Yeah. It was fine. You telling me what to do. I did it. We survived. It was fine.
We survived because I'm like Matt Damon. That's what the game made me feel like. I was the Martian. I was Matt Damon.
Well, you did it. You did it for us with the help of your Martian Friday. Me.
So in conclusion, if you enjoyed Robinson Crusoe, I highly, highly recommend First Martians. If you're a player who enjoys deeper games like Through the Ages, and you do not mind trying to learn a rule book that has some issues, you're going to find a very thematic experience in this game. And especially with some of the legacy aspects in it, it is overall a wonderful game. It just doesn't have the rough edges ironed out. So I would recommend it, but not to just everybody.
Don't buy. There. I said it. Case closed. No one should buy this game because I said so.
You are an articulate person.
It doesn't. Okay. That's it. Why I don't like it. I don't know what else you want from me. It's cooperative. So
you're not.
You know in the game. Run the game. That's fine because you know it. I accept that. But then I just make a decision based on some of what you tell me to do. But the game is not, what's the word you always use?
Elegant.
Intuitive.
It is not intuitive.
So unless you really know what you're doing, which if you're going to buy this game from scratch, start off from scratch, if that makes any sense, and you're going to try and learn it, it's going to be a nightmare. So unless you are familiar with Robinson Crusoe, don't touch this game. If you have a friend that wants to play it with you and he knows how to play it, it's okay. But I can't recommend that you would go out and purchase it yourself.
Well, I enjoyed it. And like I said, those are the caveats. You kind of have to be a serious gamer. And I understand if you're not serious, if you're just basic and you don't want to learn to play something, that's just
I like to have fun. So
whatever.
sue me. Sue me.
Just whatever.
You're listening to the Board Game Snobs podcast. You have chosen wisely.
All right. I want to talk about the new hotness that is.
Thank you, Nigel, for that introduction. Are we starting a new one?
Yeah. Thank you, Nigel.
Thanks, Nigel.
I want to talk about the
Rigsby,
the new hotness that is The Godfather, not the movie.
Corleone's Empire.
Yeah, that one. I'm not a big fan of Eric Lang. I don't particularly. I know that's sad to say, but I don't find all his games just to be as thrilling as it's made out to be. But The Godfather, it's a 2 to 5 player game put out by Simon.
Come on.
Economic, area control, hand management, auction bidding type thing.
You read off of BGG very well.
I thank you. Well, this is called a format, and that is what some podcasts have. Some people don't just show up drunk to the
wild card.
Some people don't show up half inebriated to to the podcast.
Hey, everybody! It's time to do a podcast.
That's not. Please don't.
That's Harry Carey.
Don't. That's Harry Carey.
Yeah. Sorry, not live.
The baseball guy or the Will Ferrell Harry Carey?
Both. One and the same.
The guy that said if
Will Ferrell is imitating that Harry Carey, the baseball guy.
The guy that says, if the moon was made of cottage.
Made of cheese, I'd eat it.
That was the worst that was the worst Will Ferrell doing Harry Carey impersonation we've ever seen. What were we talking about?
Godfather.
The Godfather. We played it with 3 players, and I'm having to recant previous statements that I have made about First Martians being the best game I have played in 2017.
Now, literally, I told you. You said that. That was a very bold statement.
I made some bold statements, and so I'm just gonna reel myself in. I'm gonna take myself off the fanboy wagon.
Do you think it bothers people that I say literally?
It bothers me.
That it literally?
Yes, it literally bothers me. I'm going to take myself off the fanboy wagon of First Martians. And although I really enjoyed the game, I have to say that if there is one game on the market right now that you need to own, it is The Godfather.
I concur. Within 10 minutes of playing it, I said, I like this game. Immediately. And I like a game.
Not immediately if you took you 10 minutes.
Immediately at the 10-minute mark, I said, I like this game.
Just clarifying. I have to say that the go over how the game is played, since you're so good at expressing yourself, and since you don't like me reading from Board Game Geek.
Well, you have several phases that you go through.
Like the moon.
And then different acts. So in each act, you're going to do, 5 phases? I think it's 5. You're going to start off putting out a city. It's basically just an extra spot to place your worker. It's very simple, and that's what I like about it. This game, we literally learned it in Rodney's video. We watched Rodney's video, and we were ready to go. Right. We didn't touch the rule book.
That was a very poor description of the game. Basically, what's taking place...
I wasn't done. I got sidetracked.
Well, you got sidetracked thinking about something else.
Well, that's what happens.
Here's what happens.
I saw something shiny.
You have your homies, which are these thug-looking guys that are very cheap CMON miniatures with droopy Tommy guns.
Yeah, I was not impressed with the miniatures.
And you send your homies out.
Eric.
You send your homies out into the area to gain control of businesses and to basically extort services from people. So you send them out into various areas, they take control, and then you have family members that can, when you place them kind of in the central part of the board, they're in an area that controls, they're influencing several different boroughs on the map. And then after a certain rounds, you get the benefits. You get the cards that you use to play the job cards, and the job cards are where you can utilize to attack other players, like gun their people down and dump their bodies in the Hudson.
Yes.
Which I think really happens.
Yes.
I've been to the Hudson. I've seen bodies in the Hudson.
You don't.
True story.
False. So it's very simple. You place your workers, you reap the benefits. And sometimes you get money. Sometimes you get whatever
drugs.
These other illicit things may be.
Talk about the drugs.
And you have alcohol. You have drugs, which is a wild card. You have blood money. And then you have a Tommy gun.
Which blood money is different from regular money.
Right. It's just a card that has money on it with blood coming off of it. And if you collect these things, it's basically set collection for the job. So a job may say you need 3 Tommy guns. Well, you collect those, you completed the job, and then it gives you a reward.
Yeah. But the 2 key mechanics that I like. So one, it's got area control. So if you're an area control person, this is going to make your brain tingle. It's got some worker placement. The worker placement aspect of it is nice because that's a mechanic most people can understand. The set collection, using those various cards to complete the jobs, that's nice. But what happens is the stress that comes about of storing your money. You launder.
Did you say area control?
It is area control. Did I say that?
I don't think you said that.
I said area.
Maybe you did.
I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay.
When you have to launder your money into your little suitcase. You have a hand limit, and at the end of every round, you have to discard down to that hand limit, which means at times you have too many cards in your hand, cards that you need, and you have to choose which ones you are going to throw away. And so being able to get money, launder said money, and then use that same money that would have been used for victory points later in the game in an auction where you auction this money secretively to purchase, basically bribe people. You're bribing the mayor,
Right.
the chief of police, and various other people.
Yes. You bribe. So you can collect all the money in the world, but you have to take a specific action to put it in the suitcase. And only the money in the suitcase counts towards in-game money. So that's what makes it difficult.
Because that blood money doesn't count unless it's in the suitcase, just like in real life.
Exactly.
So what did you not like about the game? It seemed long.
Are you kidding me?
It seemed a little long. Did you know it wasn't long?
I commented on how short it seemed. You have 4 acts, and once you've been through the first one, you know exactly how they go. Is bam, bam, bam.
Maybe
you want a shorter act? You want 3 acts instead of 4?
I asked a question. Did it seem long?
It was a foolish question. No, it did not.
Okay. Well,
for as big a game as I was expecting this to be, everybody's talking about it. I was like, oh, this is going to be like a several-hour game. But it was very quick, very easy. I mean, easy to learn.
Quick and easy like
hard
you.
to master. Really? Again?
No.
Like your mom?
Will you quit talking about my mother?
You said it!
Either way,
it's quick, easy
to
learn.
Easy.
Hard to master, as they say.
Yeah, it wasn't hard to master. I believe I won. But overall, this is my
near and far must have been difficult for you then because you lost that one.
We're not talking about near and far. Well, that's another review.
Okay.
But so far, Godfather is the game that I enjoyed the most.
You very prematurely, and I told you at the time, Game of the Year.
That's
talking about First Martians.
Another poor
First Martians. Game of the Year. Oh, best game ever.
I don't sound like that.
And it was like the first big game we've even played this year, and you crowned it Game of the Year.
We played big games. It's just I've been anticipating it.
Yeah.
Why are you hating on me so much? You've done 2 poor impersonations. One of Will Ferrell and Eric Gary, and now of me.
Hey, everybody. If hot dogs were currency, I'd be rich. I don't know.
You don't even know.
I don't know what he says.
Just stop it. But yeah, I think Godfather right now, if I had to give a blanket recommendation for any big game that is currently out that has a lot of hype, I must say I had to go to Godfather. I really enjoyed it. And it's one of those games that I think I could play multiple times in a row. I think it plays well with different player counts. It plays well with different types of people. Some people are more hardcore players, even people who are just learning the basic aspects of the game. It is all around just an excellent game.
I mean, I would almost put it at Gateway. Like a gateway game.
Gateway. You're not Gateway.
It was very simple. That's the simplest game I've learned.
Here's why.
The quickest.
Do we even have to? Okay, let me explain to you why this is not Gateway. There's set collection. There's area control. There's an auction. There's worker placement. There are so many mechanics taking place. Once you get past 1 or 2 mechanics, it's no longer Gateway. This is a step up from Gateway. This is medium weight.
Okay, touche. I accept. See?
Yeah.
See, I'm reasonable.
You're humble.
Something you don't know nothing about.
That's what I love about you. Not your impersonations, but your humility.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. It's my Godfather.
That's not the Godfather.
And I've never seen Godfather. So the game didn't make much sense to me. But I mean, I get the general idea. Yeah, you're a mobster. I get it. It's not that hard to comprehend.
This was a waste of money to get the Godfather IP. There is no Godfather in this game. This could have been a generic game of mobsters. I don't know. I'm sure they just
an attention getter.
An attention getter. But I do like the theme of it. But there is no.
It could have been generic mafioso.
Pretty much. So don't expect that you're going to be reliving the best parts of The Godfather, because it's not. It felt like to me, if I had to compare this game with something like Tammany Hall. Tammany Hall, an excellent bidding game, area control, worker placement game, except I love this thing better. As a matter of fact, Tammany Hall, I very much enjoyed it. Godfather killed Tammany Hall for me.
I agree 100%.
So if you're one of those old school
Cherish
players,
this moment.
If you're one of those old school players that like Tammany Hall, that sought it out,
it's good. It was a good game. We played it just a mere few weeks ago.
Yep.
And I exclaimed that I like it, but
just after 10 minutes of playing it.
Yeah,
Immediately.
I liked it too. But this one is the exact same, but better.
Except with gangsters.
And
you get blood money.
And you can put people in the Hudson.
And prostitution was missing from this. I guess they decided that drugs and blood money
drugs and
murder was fine. But prostitution, no, we're not going to go there.
That's too far.
That's too far. I like it when they keep it PG-ish.
PG-13.
PG-13.
It's a PG-13 game. Buy.
Yeah, buy it. Very nice. Keeping with that, with our taste in games, I'm a very cold-blooded, hateful person who loves to backstab people, and thus because of that, Game of Thrones, the second edition, is my favorite board game of all times. I enjoy seeing people betrayed and crushed.
And betraying.
You
are usually the initiator.
Yes. What is your favorite board game, Gaby?
Well, that's a good question, Jerry. Recently, I think it's changed. And that possibly could be simply due to play amount. Is that the word? Play. Okay. It doesn't matter what the word is. Viticulture is my number one now.
Why is that?
It was Scythe.
Are you a wino?
I'm a Stegmaier loyalist. I loved Scythe. It blew my mind. But it was also like probably my first big game I played.
No, it's not.
Like you brought that over. Like that was one of the first. Like you had it was blinged out. The Kickstarter edition.
You're mistaking big games with blinged. It's just bling. A big game. What is all right?
And it's also large.
You're large. What is your definition of a big game?
I am large. I don't know. I don't know.
What is your? I will give you my definition of a big game. A big game is something that requires. A big game requires that if you think in depth about your strategy, generally takes more than just an hour to play.
Scythe takes more than an hour.
Oh, Scythe is not a overly complicated.
Okay, it's a big game in scale.
So that's it.
It's part of it.
I'm going to buy you the big box.
Would you say it's
a big box of El Grande, and you can say, "Oh, I've played a big game."
Okay, fine.
El Grande,
but there's also lots to it.
There's not a lot to Scythe. There's not a lot to Scythe. Or Scythe? Are we saying this wrong? Scythe? Scythe.
What are you saying?
Scythe.
That's how you say it.
Is that how you say it?
You say it as if it was spelled S-I-T-H-E.
Some call it a sling blade. I call it a kaiser blade.
Right. That's a scythe.
That is a scythe.
What were you saying?
Scything?
Scythe. What are we talking about?
Scythe. It's an excellent.
Oh my God!
It's an excellent middleweight game, but it is not. It is not a. It's not all that it's cracked up to be.
Oh, so now you're hating on Scythe?
I'm not hating on Scythe. I'm saying that it got way too much hype.
You can't blame the game for that.
I can't blame the game for that.
To blame.
It's easy to misinterpret. What are we talking about, Scythe?
Oh, you asked me if it was what my favorite game was.
Oh, so Scythe is your favorite game?
No, it was for a while.
Well, what is your favorite game?
But we've played. I logged my stuff on BGG Stats, and we played Scythe 5 times. I played Viticulture. I think I'm up to 10.
Viticulture is a wonderful game.
Viticulture I love it.
I like crushing grapes.
I like games that are
making Pearl Jam.
I don't know what Pearl Jam is. What is Pearl Jam? I think that's dirty, isn't it?
Pearl Jam was the guy's name. The guy's aunt was named Pearl, and she used to make jam, and that's where the name came from.
Are you serious?
Positive.
I think you're lying.
I will Google that.
Okay, it doesn't
Dictionary.
matter.
Go ahead.
Do it. We're on the computer.
Go ahead.
I like Viticulture, much like Godfather. A game in its concept that you do this. I like games that have clear actions you take, and with those actions, you get something for it, or something happens. That's very vague, I know. But you place your worker, you take the action. Bam, that's simple. And with those actions, you can collect things and get points for this and that. But viticulture has, I don't know how to describe stuff. It just is fluid. It's easy. It feels good.
Fluid.
It feels good.
It's fluid and feels good. There's a shining that's what's going to be on the box.
Okay.
Gaby Moraga says viticulture. It's fluid and it feels good. All right. Well, that's going to be the end of our show for us. We thank you for listening. Tune in. I won't say next week because we might not be recording next week. We generally record when we feel like it. So maybe next week, maybe the week after, maybe never. This might be the last.
You may never hear from us again.
You may never hear from us again. And we may never hear from you again. With that in mind, thank you, Nigel. Thank you, Gaby.
Thanks, Jerry. We're the Board Game Snobs. Good day.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.